Oh my gosh, you guys. What did we just watch? I am still picking my jaw up off the floor. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, you better buckle up, because today we are diving deep into one of the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping, internet-breaking moments from 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way history. That's right, we are talking about Shekinah's absolutely shocking surgery reveal and Sarper's utterly devastated, heartbroken reaction. This was not just a scene, this was an emotional earthquake, and the aftershocks are still being felt across social media. If you haven't seen it, you are about to get the full breakdown. And for those who have, you know we need to dissect every single second, every micro-expression, every tear. This, my friends, is a story of love, expectation, secrecy, and a revelation that changed everything. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, make sure you are smashing that like button and subscribing with notifications on. We break down all the 90 Day Fiancé drama the second it happens, and you do not want to miss our upcoming analysis on what this means for their future. Also, drop a comment down below with your first reaction when you saw this scene. Were you Team Shekinah or Team Sarper? Let's get into it. So, for a bit of context, let's rewind. Shekinah and Sarper. The couple defined by intense passion, a massive age gap, and a love that has always seemed visually centered. Sarper has never, ever been shy about his love for Shekinah's appearance. He's praised her looks constantly, called her his perfect Barbie doll, and made it abundantly clear that her physical beauty is a cornerstone of his attraction. On the flip side, Shekinah has always presented herself as this naturally stunning, almost ethereal beauty. There's been this unspoken narrative, heavily promoted by Sarper, that she is this flawless, God-given creation. The pressure on her to maintain that image? Immense. You could see it in her eyes sometimes, a flicker of anxiety when Sarper would go on and on about her perfect body. It was a pedestal, and as we all know, pedestals are incredibly dangerous places to be. Now, the lead up to this episode was tense. They've been arguing. There's been distance. Shekinah has been acting secretive. Nervous. Almost like she's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. Sarper, ever the obsessive controller, senses something is off. He's questioning her every move, her phone usage, her moods. The trust is fraying at the edges. We, as the audience, are left wondering, is it another man? Is it cold feet? What could possibly be causing this rift? Then, we get the scene. They're in what looks like a very sterile, quiet room, maybe a hotel suite, maybe an apartment. The lighting is harsh. It feels more like an interrogation room than a lover's nest. The air is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Sarper is pressing her. You are hiding something from me. I can feel it. I know you. And Shekinah. Shekinah looks terrified. She's wringing her hands, avoiding eye contact, tears welling up. She starts with, "There's something about me, something I never told you. Something from before we met." Sarper, of course, jumps to the worst conclusion. You have a child? You were married? What is it? But Shekinah shakes her head, the tears starting to fall. It's about how I look. A beat of silence. Sarper's face is pure confusion. What about how you look? You are perfect. And that right there, that phrase, "you are perfect," is the trigger. It's the very reason she's been living in fear. She takes a deep, shuddering breath, looks directly into the camera for a second as if seeking strength from the audience, and then she says it. The words that will forever alter their relationship. Sarper, my body, it's not natural. I've had surgeries. A lot of surgeries. Boom. The bomb is dropped. But it's not just the admission. It's the details. She starts to list them. It wasn't just a little tweak. We're talking about a full surgical transformation. Rhinoplasty. Breast augmentation. Liposuction. Brazilian butt lift. Fillers. Botox. A complete architectural overhaul of her body. With each procedure she names, Sarper's face undergoes a terrifying transformation. The confusion morphs into disbelief. Then, the disbelief cracks into something far more painful: betrayal. His eyes, which usually look at her with lust and possession, now scan her face and body like he's seeing a stranger. Like the portrait he's worshipped for years has suddenly revealed itself to be a meticulously crafted forgery. He stumbles back, literally needing to hold on to a chair. What? What are you saying? All of it? Everything I love is fake? His voice isn't just angry, it's shattered. It's the sound of a man whose entire reality is dissolving. For him, this isn't just about vanity. This is about the foundation of their connection. He fell in love with a visual. He idolized a specific image. And now he's being told that image is manufactured. The natural beauty he boasted about doesn't exist in the way he believed. Why didn't you tell me? He shouts, and it's a raw, guttural cry. All this time. I told you I loved you for being natural. I told everyone. You let me live a lie. This is the core of his heartbreak. It's less about the surgeries themselves and more about the deception. The persona she let him believe in and promote. Shekinah is sobbing now, trying to explain through her tears. I was scared. I was young when I started. I had insecurities. And then I met you, and you put me on this pedestal of being natural, and the pressure, it was too much. I didn't know how to tell you. I was afraid you wouldn't want me anymore. And there it is. The tragic cycle. His obsession with a specific kind of beauty created an environment where she felt she could never be honest. Her fear of losing that love cemented the lie. It's a perfect storm of insecurity and expectation. Sarper starts pacing, running his hands through his hair in utter distress. So everything I touched, everything I admired, it's all silicone? It's all scars and doctors? His wording is harsh, brutal, reducing her very personal and likely painful journey to a series of clinical procedures. He's not seeing the vulnerable woman in front of him, he's seeing the dismantling of his fantasy. Who are you? I don't even know who you are. This is the ultimate gut punch for Shekinah. Her worst fear is being realized in real time. By revealing her truth, she hasn't brought them closer, she's made him feel like he never knew her at all. The scene cuts to her confessional, and her face is a mask of agony. I thought if he loved me, the person inside, it wouldn't matter. But I see now, it matters to him more than anything. Back in the room, Sarper is spiraling. My friends, my family, what do I tell them? I look like an idiot. I've been bragging about this natural beauty, and you were altered. The word altered hangs in the air like a curse. He's concerned about his ego, his image, how he looks to others. It's a selfish reaction, but in his devastated state, it's all he can grasp. Shekinah tries to reach out, to touch his arm, but he flinches away. That single movement, the physical recoil, is more devastating than any word. Don't, he says, his voice cold now. The heat of his anger has frozen into something more frightening: detachment. I need to think. I need to process this. I don't know what this means for us. He grabs his jacket and heads for the door. Shekinah crumples onto the floor, her body racked with sobs, whispering, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, to an empty room. Fade to black. Scene. You guys, my heart was in my throat. Let's break down this psychological masterpiece. First, Sarper's reaction. Yes, it was heartbreaking, but let's be real, it was also profoundly self-centered. His pain stems from his narrative being destroyed, his bragging rights being revoked. He feels duped and embarrassed. Is that a valid feeling? Sure, to an extent. But where is the empathy for the woman he supposedly loves? Where is the recognition of her vulnerability in sharing this deeply personal secret? His immediate jump to everything I love is fake exposes a very shallow foundation for that love. He loved the aesthetic, not the architect. On the other hand, Shekinah's secret keeping. this is the big one. In a relationship, especially one barreling towards marriage, transparency is key. Keeping such a significant part of your history a secret is a form of deception. She built the relationship on an incomplete truth. Her fear is understandable, given Sarper's clear and stated preferences, but it doesn't absolve the lie of omission. She was trapped between her truth and his expectation, and she chose to hide, hoping it would never come up. That's a dangerous game. But here's the bigger question this scene forces us to ask. In the era of filters, fillers, and cosmetic enhancements, what is the obligation to disclose? If someone has had work done, is that their private medical history, or is it information a serious partner deserves to know? And more importantly, if your partner's love is contingent on you being all natural, is that love even real to begin with? This isn't just a Shekinah and Sarper problem, this is a modern dating dilemma amplified for reality TV. The fallout on social media has been insane. The comments are split right down the middle. One side is screaming, "She lied." He has every right to be devastated. It's about the deception. The other side is firing back, "He's superficial. His love was conditional on her being a product. She dodged a bullet." It's a war zone out there, people. And this is just part one. Because what happens next is the real story. Does Sarper calm down and try to understand? Does his love for her, if it exists beyond the physical, find a way to overcome this? Or does this reveal expose a fatal flaw in their relationship that cannot be repaired? Will Shekinah, now freed from the burden of her secret, find a new sense of confidence, or will she be crushed by the potential loss? The previews for next week show more yelling, more tears, and a possible intervention from friends. We might even see Sarper seeking advice, trying to wrap his head around it all. But imagine the conversations they need to have that weren't in this explosive scene. The why. Why did she get the surgeries? What was she feeling before? The insecurities, the pain. And Sarper needs to confront his own values. Can he separate the person from the physique? Can he love the woman who made those choices for herself, long before he entered the picture? This saga is far from over. We have so much more to cover. The aftermath, the potential reconciliation or brutal breakup, the social media clapbacks, the tell-alls. This story is evolving by the minute. And that's exactly why you need to stay right here on this channel. So, what did you think? Was Shekinah wrong for not telling him sooner? Was Sarper's reaction understandable or appallingly shallow? Get that debate started in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to see exactly how this unravels, you must subscribe and hit that notification bell. We will be live streaming our reactions to the next episode the second it airs, breaking down every moment, every clue, every tear. We're your source for 90-day Fiancé deep dives, no filters, all reality. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with a friend who needs to be in on this drama. Until next time, stay tuned, because in the world of 90-day Fiancé, the truth always comes out, even if it's surgically enhanced. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Welcome back, drama lovers. You clicked, you stayed, and now we're diving into the aftermath. The fallout from Shekinah's surgery bomb was just the beginning. If you thought the initial reveal was explosive, just wait until we get to the tell-alls, the social media wars, and the shocking updates that prove this story never really ends. I'm your host, and we are about to unpack part 2 of the Shekinah and Sarper saga. Last time, we left with Shekinah sobbing on the floor and Sarper walking out, his entire worldview shattered. The question hanging in the air was simple: can a relationship built on a perfect image survive the revelation that the image was curated? Grab your snacks, hit that subscribe button, and let's get right back into the chaos. After that fateful night, the dynamic shifted from passionate lovers to cautious roommates. The cameras kept rolling, capturing the uncomfortable silence, the strained conversations, and the elephant in the room that was now, ironically, made of silicone and surgical scars. Sarper wasn't just heartbroken, he was disoriented. His script for their love story had been ripped up. We saw him retreating, spending more time at the gym, on his phone, distant. He wasn't yelling anymore, the anger had calcified into a cold disappointment. In his confessional, he kept circling back to the same points: trust is broken. How can I believe anything she says? I feel like a fool. His ego was the primary patient in this emotional ICU. Shekinah, meanwhile, was navigating a strange new reality. There was a palpable sense of relief mixed with profound grief. The secret was out, the weight was lifted, but the cost seemed to be the man she loved. We saw her trying to initiate the talk multiple times. She wanted to explain her journey, not as a list of procedures, but as a story of a young woman battling insecurities in a world that values looks above all. She tried to explain that her choices weren't about deceiving him, but about becoming a version of herself she could live with long before he arrived. This body is my history, she pleaded in one scene. It's my diary. You can't just love the cover and throw away the pages. But Sarper wasn't ready to read. His love language had always been physical, visual. Now, he claimed he needed an emotional connection to move forward, a concept he struggled to define beyond not wanting to feel tricked. The irony was thick enough to cut with a scalpel. He wanted depth, but only after the surface had been decoded to his satisfaction. The weeks dragged on. They attended events together, smiled for photos, but the spark was gone. Producers milked this tension for every second. Will they or won't they became the central question of the season. Then, the narrative took a turn: the K-1 visa process. With Sarper's visa pending and a move to America looming, they were forced to make a decision. Was there enough foundation left to build a life together in a new country? In a rare moment of raw honesty, Sarper confessed to the camera, "I am afraid. My first marriage was a disaster. What if this is another mistake? What if I move across the world and we are already broken?" This fear of history repeating itself became a new shadow over their relationship. Against all odds, and to the shock of many viewers, they decided to press forward. They would get married. They would try. The wedding episodes were surreal. Shekinah looked beautiful, but her eyes held a nervous uncertainty. Sarper, ever the performer, put on a charming show for the guests, but his smiles didn't always reach his eyes. The most talked about moment wasn't the "I do," but the prenuptial negotiations. Sarper, in what fans roasted as the ultimate him move, reportedly demanded a wait clause in their prenup. Yes, you heard that right. In the midst of trying to save a relationship from a crisis of authenticity, he wanted a contract stipulation about her body mass. The internet erupted. It was seen as the ultimate proof that his priorities were still irrevocably tethered to her physical form. The wedding happened, but it felt less like a celebration and more like a business merger between two emotionally bankrupt companies. Fast forward to the season tell-all special. This is where the drama gets meta, because we're not just watching their story, we're watching them watch their own story, surrounded by their judging peers. And the vibe was ICY. First, they arrived separately. They had slept in separate hotel rooms the night before filming. Let that sink in. A newlywed couple, avoiding each other on the eve of the biggest reunion show of their lives. When host Sean Robinson asked about it, the tension was palpable. Shekinah admitted things were not good. Sarper elaborated, the move to America had flipped their power dynamic. In Turkey, he was the provider, the dominant one. In the US, he was reliant on Shekinah for everything: navigation, translation, social connections. He was struggling with not being the alpha in his new environment, and it was straining their marriage to the breaking point. The surgery secret was now just one item on a long list of resentments and adjustments. Then, there was Shekinah's appearance. Fans immediately flooded social media, concerned and curious about her noticeably different, swollen look. Shekinah later explained on Instagram, she had taken a massive risk. 10 days before the tell-all, she had all her facial fillers removed and underwent a fat transfer procedure. She was in the active, swollen recovery phase during filming. She explained she trusted her Turkish doctor and wanted the procedure done before returning to the US, unsure of when she'd be back. She also revealed a past botched Botox job in Turkey that had frozen her jaw during filming. This admission added another layer. Her journey with cosmetic procedures was ongoing, fraught with both good and bad results, and was clearly a central, active part of her life, a fact Sarper had to continually adjust to. The tell-all also delivered a classic 90-day twist. The surprise ex-Sarper's former girlfriend, Didi, appeared via video call, stunning both him and Shekinah. Shekinah, feeling betrayed by this blindsiding, walked off the stage until the call ended. When she returned, she flipped the script on Sarper, accusing him of a double standard. He could be jealous of her past, but here was his past, literally on screen for all to see. It was a moment of empowered pushback, using his own logic against him. So, after all this, the lie, the heartbreak, the awkward wedding, the tense tell-all, are Shekinah and Sarper still together? This is where reality TV meets reality. According to their social media, as of late 2025, they appear to be together and relatively normal. They post together on their couple's account, share loved-up photos, and present a united front. Shekinah has stated her future plans are only for minimal lip filler, a decision Sarper apparently approves of. On the surface, it seems they weathered the storm. But we have to ask, what is normal for them? As one source astutely pointed out, Instagram doesn't always tell the whole story of what goes on behind closed doors, but neither does reality television. This is the perfect summary of the Shekinah and Sarper paradox. Their entire relationship has been performed, for each other, for the cameras, and now for their followers. The happy couple feed could be a genuine new chapter of acceptance and compromise. Or, it could be the next iteration of the curated image, a conscious uncoupling too messy and expensive to execute publicly. Their story doesn't have a neat ending because it's a living documentary on modern love's complexities. It touches on the currency of disclosure. What must you share about your past to belong to someone's future? The anatomy of love. Can attraction based on specific aesthetics evolve into love for a complex, changing person? The performance of relationships. In the age of social media, when does the performance for the outside world overtake the truth of the private one? Shekinah and Sarper may stay together for years, bound by a visa, a brand, and a bizarre, toxic loyalty. Or, the cracks revealed by the surgery secret may continue to widen under the pressures of real life. Their saga is the ultimate clickbait that keeps on giving because it asks a question we're all trying to answer: how much reshaping of ourselves and our partners are we willing to accept in the name of love? Your turn. This conversation is massive. I want to hear from you. 1. Do you believe their social media happiness is real, or is it another performance? 2. Was Sarper's demand for a wait clause the final straw, or just a pragmatic, if cold, request? 3. Can a relationship that started with such a fundamental deception ever truly be healthy? Debate it out in the comments below. This channel thrives on your insights. And if you want to be part of our live reaction to the next tell-all or the inevitable 90-day, the last resort appearance, because let's be real, they're perfect for it, you must hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We go deeper than the drama to unpack the real human stories. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for being part of this crazy community. Remember to like, share, and comment your hearts out. Until next time, stay tuned, because in the 90-day universe, the only constant is more drama. I'll see you in the next video.